Well, how y'all doing? So, my name's Jeff. I'm the owner of Area 52 Pro Diesel Repair, and we're an independent shop in New Plymouth, Idaho. I own this car, and like I said, we were going to be talking about power seat switches and a potential problem that could be lurking around that you probably don't even know you have. And so this video could definitely benefit you, even if the power seats in your 70s Continentals, even if everything's working, you could have potential problems. So let's start off with the story on this car was the passenger seat would move forward and backward, but it would not do the front and rear tilt. You could hear it trying to work, and you could actually see the dome lights, dimming and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of power that these things draw, especially when they, get to where they're at the end of its travel. There's no limit switches or anything like that once it gets to that point, it relies on you to be lifting off the switch when it reaches at the end of its travel. Sometimes you can, if it's bad enough, it can blow fuses and whatnot. The seat on the driver's side of this car had gone all the way forward, wouldn't go back. And the previous owners, I've only owned this car for a little over a couple months now, a month and a half, 2 months. And so like I said, it went forward, but it wouldn't go back. And they just unbolted the seat, made some special brackets, and moved it back and rebolted it into a different position using the original. So it was a nice way that they did it. It wasn't just because they just didn't know how to fix it. And so I've got a couple of other videos that show how, troubleshooting the motors, the cables, the gearing down by the track, and we actually take apart that gearing down by the track and fix the passenger seat in this car. And then I also have the seat in a different video, the seat out of the car laying flat on the floor, and we go through and we talk about the cables and how to check and what to look for and all that kind of stuff. So if any of that stuff is what you need to learn, go check those out. I will try to put a description, or a link down in the description. I'm totally not tech savvy and quite yet. I should be, but I'm just not. I mean, I like the older technology. So anyways, but I want to talk about is this switch that came out of the driver's side of this car, and how bad this switch is, and what it looks like, and what potentially happened to it. So with that, let me get us a different camera view. All right, so let's talk about a good switch first, and what one should look like. You can see it's kind of got this, what looks like kind of like a shrink wrap type of stuff around it. This one's not perfect, it's got a little bit of corrosion, whatnot there, but these pins, pretty shiny, look pretty decent. This moves forward, it feels pretty good. These are a little stiff though. You don't want that. What you want is to be like this. This feels nice, and we'll talk about this switch later on. But you want these to move nice and freely and everything. So let's look at the switch on this car. And you can see this shrink tubing or shrink wrap type stuff got very hot. Look at that. Shame on the mess. Ooh, that is not good. ladies and gentlemen. You can see really bad corrosion stuff going on in here. This switch got very hot, and as you can see, it does it takes quite a bit of force to move these on this one, and both directions, and that is just not how they're supposed to operate. This part right here kind of does the same thing. What I suspect could have happened to this switch is it was being moved forward, and it went forward, and it still maintained connection when they let off the switch, and this got very hot, and this could be a potential fire hazard. So you need to check the quality of how well these things move in your car. You need to actually take it apart and look at it. I'll show you that. And I've got, even in the other videos, I show how to take it apart and pull these switches out and stuff like that. But this is no good, and it got very hot and could have potentially caused a fire. And so one of the things that coming up is I'm going to have a series of videos. Obviously, I do have already a couple of them that talk about the different cables, the motors and stuff, and a little bit of troubleshooting on these. So we're gonna have but I'm gonna do a little bit more in-depth videos and a little bit better quality videos than the other two that I even have out, as far as service and maintaining your tracks and all that type of stuff for the power seats. Because out of the couple of different, I've owned two 79s. One was the two-door version. This one is the four-door town car version. I had power seats problems in both of them, and there's been other cars that I've had come in the shop, a 78 6 months ago, power seat issues, and it all boils down to bad switches, sometimes bad motors, and then sometimes the gearing and stuff inside the tracks and whatnot, just from age. And I want to make a series of videos on how to make this system work perfectly and have a good system for moving your seats forward and backward and stuff like that, and so that you can also avoid having this happen, because it'd be such a shame to have this thing catch on fire and you're not able to put it out in time. That'd be pretty devastating, especially when there's still so many really nice cars out there that boy, it'd be such a bummer. So anyways, we'll continue on. We'll talk about a few of these other switches and whatnot. Okay, so we got our regular switch here. This was, from I believe a 78 Mark V or 79, somewhere around there. That's where this particular switch came from. This was our best quality switch that we were just discussing. So this switch right here came from a 1985 Lincoln Town Car, and as you can see, they didn't change it all that much. And like I said, the parts stores in our area did not have anything like this. This is what I found in the wrecking yard. This switch right here feels excellent. Matter of fact, it feels like a lot better quality made switch than these ones here. As you can see, we've got the same amount of pins on here, but the pin arrangement is a smidge different. So what can you do about that? Well, let me show you. So this switch, and obviously a lot of these need to be cleaned up. This switch came out of oh, shame on the mess. Can't be getting the hood of this car dirty like that. This switch right here, which looks just like the one that came out of our 85 Lincoln, this one came out of a 1995 Lincoln. That's what I said, 1995. So, get this pulled off of here. Like I said, I went and got this whole thing here. And the 1995 looks just like the 1985. Didn't change it at all. Got a little bit of corrosion going on right there. Not a big deal, can be totally cleaned up. Like I said, these switches feel amazing and they feel like they're in a lot better condition. So it is definitely possible to do a little bit of upgrading by changing this. If you're able to get these, you know, you're probably going to have to go to a wrecking yard or, you know, search around. You might be able to find them, eBay and whatnot. And so, you know, there's 8 wires that go on here. So we've also got 8 wires on this block, which is what you're going to have, you know, in your, I'm not sure about the early 70s. I haven't done much with any of those cars, but it guaranteed probably 75 to 79. And the Continentals, you're going to have this style, you know, which fits this particular switch here. And so wire colors are, some are the same, some are pretty different, not a whole lot, but you know, if you're confident enough to be able to figure out, you know, the wiring and stuff like that, if I decide to do this particular repair, I will definitely go ahead and make a video about it. But I'm just kind of throwing it out there as an option because I like this switch a lot better than I do, you know, these ones. Like I said, it just feels like it just operates and feels so much better quality of a switch than any of these do. And, you know, but I haven't gotten anything that was like, say, new OEM switch, you know, for a 79 Continental, you know, out of the box. I don't know what those feel like. Any of these are, you know, what's in this car and what I've found here between all the rest of these switches, because, you know, here's one that's got a lot of the all that kind of rubber, it's almost like shrink wrap, has all been pulled off of it, and you can see some of the innards and stuff in there. And you know, it you know, this one doesn't feel that good. You can see green corrosion and all that kind of stuff in there, but I'm hoping I'd really be able to take these things apart and try to be able to figure out how to clean and rebuild them. That would be awesome. And if that's the case, then I will get more of these. But you can see it's kind of a some kind of a shrink wrap sort of deal, and they're supposed to be all kind of sealed up like that. But like I said, this one doesn't operate that great. It would scare me to put it in there because it wouldn't want it to get stuck in the on position and keep continuing to go and burn something out, which is definitely a possibility of what can happen. It could blow fuses, but it could definitely get this hot enough first. This to me just, you know, probably not the greatest design with these type of plugs, and you know, the way this, you know, there's probably a lot of other ways it could have been done, but it's the way it is. Got to fix it. So you know, you might be asking, you know, does this fit in the area where it goes? And let me show you that. So we'll go ahead and use this. This looks a little bit different than what's in this car, especially this deal like this. So this could be from a little bit older one, but it's pretty much, everything's pretty much the same. But as you can see, this goes right in there, looks totally legit. It even really matches these switches and stuff, and it does go in there exactly how it needs to. Now the only thing that we don't have is when you get this mounted on here. Now this style has to be an older one because it had it's got these nuts right here. This car, and I can show you that, has screws that go from this direction. You fill up screws there. But as you can see, that fits in there. You're able to put a nut on this side. You just don't have an ear on it from this side. And both of them were like that. That's just how they are. They just had one ear. And I imagine you can get kind of creative, you know, that if you had this style, you can probably put some kind of a big washer on here and then do a step up with a smaller washer and go ahead and tighten the nut down, and that would probably tighten that down just perfect to be able to do that. But yeah, I think this is probably going to be a possibility of what I'm going to end up doing. Oh, this feels so much better. I really want to do it. I think I'm going to actually do it. Might stay tuned for that video coming up, but let's have a look see at that and how it fits in this car. Okay, so this car, you know, has this style, you know. Let me show you it on this side. Like I said, it looks way different. Not a whole lot different, just a totally different, you know, it's kind of got wood grain stickers and stuff on it. So, and if I didn't mention before, your passenger side and your driver's side switches are interchangeable. There's no difference in them at all. So if we take and put this, sorry, okay, so that is the switch from the 1995, and you can see it still matches everything else. Looks, you know, probably not quite centered in that hole, but you really don't notice it too much. And with this style, you can see that ear right there with the hole lines up, you know, for your screw to go down in there. I won't screw it all the way down, but you know, like I said, we just don't have one for this side, but you know, there's your hole right there, and if it's possible, you know, that you can screw this down with a big washer on it. Matter of fact, the head of this screw would almost go all the way down and make contact just barely. I'd put a washer on it, but if you put a washer on there, the washer will make contact with that, and you'll be able to tighten that thing down, and then it'll be just in there just like that. Oh, looking more and more like that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And if I do, I will make a video and show you how to do it, you know, because we're gonna have to, you know, change this. And the other thing about why I might do that is because how hot this got. This did get pretty warm. You can see it's even got some melted spots on here, you know, because of how hot that thing got. And the reason that I wanted to do this whole video was so that people can be aware of the fact that that's happening, because boy, it'd be a shame just to have this, you know, being able to, you know, start a fire in here. And if you drive these things, it would be the best thing in the world to have a fire extinguisher somewhere underneath the seat within your reach. Sorry about the mess going on in here, but I've been driving this car daily for the last few days, but gonna have to put it in the keep it in the shop here tonight because she's supposed to start snowing tomorrow. So I'm gonna stay in, not drive it out in the snow. So anyways, that you know, like I said, that's just another option to do, and I'm thinking it's probably gonna happen. So stay tuned and keep checking back to see if when I actually you know, get it done and whatnot. So, and that's about all the information I can give right now on these particular deals. To get to this point, it's really easy. There's a screw you take out right here, lift on, you know, this side, you know, kind of pop it up. There's a tab right there that needs to go into here. This ring right here just threads and screws onto that after it's, you know, once you get that started in there. That just makes it, you can pull this up and out of here. I've done it before with it still attached, but it's just, it seems like it's so much better this way and allows this to you know, come out of here. But you can see the style versus the other one that I have, you know, see how these screws hold down everything versus having a stud with a nut that goes on there. They just decided to change it up a little bit when they got to these years. So that's all of that. So that hopefully is everything that you wanted to know about power seat switches, and maybe some other information that you probably didn't want to know. Who knows? In between the last take and between now, I've pretty much decided. I'm about 85% sure that I'm going to install both of these switches, which are out of the same 1995 town car. And I think I'm going to install these in here. The part of me that has a little bit of reservations about it is it's not original parts to this car. But, you know, it's not all about, I mean, it's hard telling. They all know that it's not original. And chances are, you know, nobody else would if I didn't say anything. But it's not to the point. You know, I like to keep everything with this car, you know, as original as it can be. You know, but things are only new once, and in my opinion, just by the looks of how these switches are, you know, I mean, this car is in, you know, immaculate shape. It's never been restored. It's probably got about almost 88,000 miles on it. It's got, you know, a few cracks in the vinyl top and little clear coat peeling from the trunk. That's, you know, of that. Other than that, it's mostly pretty good. Paint's pretty shiny and everything, you know. But you know, from the condition of the two switches that I found that were in this car, you know, the one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side, and then the condition of all of the rest of these that I found, you know, I can't credit these ones in the wrecking yards because, you know, some of the windows were gone out of a couple of the cars. You know, a lot of stuff. You know, people could have left the door open, you know, at one point, and somebody else closed it the next. I mean, you never know. But the condition of the switches in this car, you know, definitely had me alarmed. You know, that it possibly could have started a fire, especially this switch right here, which was the switch that was from the driver's seat of this car, and how hot this thing got. This is not good. It makes me kind of nervous. And so with looking at these switches and how much better quality they are, I just think that, you know, it's I think it's just a good way to go. Haven't totally decided yet, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, about 80%, 85% sure that I'm going to do it. And when I do it, I'll go ahead and film it and show you how to do it if you want to decide to do it on your own. You know, if you see this video, and I would like to hear your thoughts about the whole thing, whether or not, you know, if you're a Continental purist, or I mean, I don't know if that's the right term or not. Like, you know, well, would you do that? Would you, you know, do a little bit of retrofitting to do a little bit newer style of a switch? You know, in my opinion, it's not a whole lot different than, you know, like I just replaced the water pump on this car, and the heater core and all that kind of stuff. Well, those aren't original parts of this car anymore, but they are maintenance things. And, you know, even sometimes 5 years have passed from a new car, and you get a new part and they've redesigned it because they said, hey, the first design doesn't work that well. I bought a part the other day. I don't remember what it was for. Oh, it's a pulley, you know, in a Chevrolet Tahoe, and it's got a, you know, steel inside the box that says C GM bulletin X number, you know, and you look it up, and sure enough, it's talking, you know, about, you know, it's just redesigned, it looks different, but it still works in, you know, the same way, and that's pretty much all it's talking about. So, I mean, stuff like that happens, you know, quite a bit through the lives of automobiles and stuff like that, you know, but yeah, I'm pretty certain this is going to happen, so I guess stay tuned and see if that's, you know, going to happen or whatnot. If you are having power seat troubles, you know, first of all, you know, there's it's really easy to test these things at the plug right underneath the seat to test to make sure that these are working. And so, you know, I might put up a video about that, the extent of troubleshooting just by doing these. You know, I guess I should probably do that. Won't be on this one. This one's getting long enough as it is. But go check those other couple of videos that I have as far as, you know, there's troubleshooting. We do a little bit of troubleshooting with the switches. Like I said, you can do it from at the plug underneath the seat, so go check out that video. And then also in that video, I think that's the video we also did the where we took apart the gearing down below the track and got in there because it had really thick grease and it was just dirty and gunky, and it just didn't work. But after cleaning all of that out and, you know, putting in some fresh grease and stuff, it works flawlessly. So that's a good video to watch, because, you know, that might be what's most likely gone with a lot of them. And even if you don't have any, you know, let's say your seat goes forward and backward, and I might also do a video, because I think I want to take the other seat out and just take all those things apart and just clean everything up and re-grease it, because you know, it may be working, but it may be struggling and it may be having a hard time to work, and then eventually that's what's going to fail, and that's what's going to make, you know, these things fail. Because I think when the seats get hard to operate, whether you've got bad cables or you've got bad gearing down in the track, you know, or even motors that are kind of starting to show some weak signs. I've never found bad motors in any of these I've ever done, but, you know, this is going to take the brunt of it, and these are going to eventually fail. So, you know, like I said, stay tuned for more videos coming on that, you know, because it seems like out of the 2 of these that I've owned and the 4 or 5 others that I've worked on, it seems like the power seats are always what's not working for the most part. Rarely have problems with electric windows and you know, I mean, there it is, but it just seems like the power seats always seem to cause the most havoc out of everything. And so I want to try to put out a decent series, and like I said, I've already got 2. This is now a 3rd video, I think. I had even another video. I had some other footage, but that got lost. And anyways, but you know, like I said, the one video talks about the gearing in the track, and I just can't keep straying off and getting different. So anyways, I apologize. I'm not a professional at this. The other video talking about the cables and how they go in and and where they go and in and out there and how to troubleshoot those, and both videos kind of talk about that. I just just when you got some time, just sit there and watch them and do a couple times and just think about it, and then decide to go out and pull your seats out and try to figure out what's going on if you've got any problems. But as I'm sitting here now, I'm probably about 90% sure that I'm gonna do this. I keep getting closer and closer, but maybe if I put them down and I quit fidgeting with them, grab one of the ones that's supposed to be in here and start fidgeting with that one, maybe I won't be tempted to do it as much. But I really am, guys and gals. So hopefully this is been some help. I just want to reiterate, if your system is working, just check these out, and if you see any corrosion, get it cleaned up, get it checked out, make sure these things got good connections and everything like that. Make sure that the buttons function nice and freely, and that they don't stick and they don't feel, they should, this one right here, that feels pretty decent, but I can look into this one because it's missing the shrink wrap stuff on here. I mean, it just looks all gunky, and it's got green corrosion and all that stuff, focus. So, it's, and that was, one that I found in there. Obviously, this was the one that came from this car, and it's got a lot of this stuff. Just, this got really hot. This got hot enough could have caught on fire. And that's the main point of this video, is you need to check these things and make sure everything is good with them, because the only things that you see when these are in here are the silver around here. You don't see any of this, and so it needs to be pulled out. You need to check it and see what it looks like. So I'd like to hear your feedback about these guys from the 95 town car, whether or not that should be in there. And before you make your decision, these feel, and they feel like a lot better quality switches. A lot better quality switches. Which is why I'm more than 50% sure I'm going to do it. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Oh, before I go anywhere, I don't know if you guys are anything like me, and sometimes it's little things that are just kind of different that kind of just put a smile on your face and everything, and I just want to know, what do y'all think of my winter hat? Woohoo! It is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen in a while. It's fully rechargeable. Haven't figured out how to do it yet, but anyways, this might be backwards, but Night Scout, they're not a sponsor. I'm not sponsoring this video at all. I'm just showing this because I found this today, and I thought I would just pass it along. I think it's pretty sweet. Anyways, there it is. Night Scout rechargeable LED beanie. Again, not a sponsor. Thanks for watching, everyone.